Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Brian Bertino's The Dark and the Wicked. He did The Strangers, Joe, but it always makes me think of the South Park movie.
Olympic gold medalist Brian Bertino.
Brian Bertino.
That's
right.
Brian Bertino, dude.
Joining me tonight, first up, you just heard him from Chicago. His name is Joe.
Oh, top of the morning to you, lassie.
Aren't you Polish?
You know, you celebrate Cinco de Mayo, right? Like,
No, I don't.
You like people who enjoy fun
Right.
and life.
Yeah.
Sometimes do, Eric.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll have to learn more about that later. Next up on the show, from Atlanta, Georgia, please welcome Cece.
Hello.
Sorry, Hotlanta. I apologize.
Oh, please don't.
Next up on the show, from Indiana, where apparently they're just giving out COVID shots. It doesn't matter. They don't care. They're like, whatever. We can't get anyone else to take these. You take it. Please welcome Casey to the show.
Sadly enough, I couldn't convince the guy at the liquor store to give me a discount because I was a giant leprechaun today.
That's not how leprechauns work. And last up tonight on the show, he has a ring light now, which everyone does on the show. It's
I feel
very...
like John's ring light has like fixed your connection. Like all of a sudden you're
It does,
very like.
Well, I think his
he's
camera was
super
bad
clear.
under low light, so it was like very pixelated. But now it's just, I can very clearly see the 5 o'clock shadow of the only part of his facial hair he can grow, which is the goatee.
I was gonna say, I
there's
think
a line.
Cece was commenting on your focus on John now.
Yeah, it's great.
Real nice. It's real nice.
I can much more clearly
nice.
see this bizarre atrium that you have been recording in since you moved to Maryland. It's great.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Oh yeah, please welcome John to the show.
I got a new outfit, courtesy of one.
Yeah, Joe
Joseph
and John
Chiners.
tonight wearing drug rugs.
Yeah,
Where's
feels good.
mine?
Drug rug buds.
I would have
I'm gonna
worn
be
one
honest,
for solidarity.
My nipples hurt just looking at it. It just looks like wearing a burlap
I mean, I got a
sack.
shirt on
I was
under.
like, you don't
Still,
wear any,
I have
yeah,
very
you gotta wear
sensitive
something
nipples, John.
underneath it.
Oh, literally the only thing I'm wearing right now. I cannot tell you guys where the ring light is clipped onto at the moment.
Yeah. John,
It's
you look
my penis, John.
Yeah.
Now I just think about you.
John, you look
Fred
like
Flintstone in a drug rug.
John, you look like the guy at a hippie festival who like didn't bring any of his own food or drugs, but is very comfortable borrowing everyone else's.
Yeah.
John looks like a
Because we're all
fucking
cool
nard.
bros here.
Yeah, you look like a narc.
Like you're just
Yeah.
wandering.
Ready to hang.
You're just like wandering into people's campsites, like eating food right out of their coolers, and just like it's all love, man. We're all just here for love,
And,
you know.
and the sleeves are still pleated, so we know that it's not real.
Yeah, John's walking over. Hey, drugs are pretty cool, huh,
Hey
guys?
kids,
Hello, fellow children.
Let's do some drugs, huh?
some illegal substances. Hmm?
Take whatever illegal substances you got. Line them up.
It's the drug rug really isn't worn in until it just really smells like smoke and BO and like.
Yeah, like, do you wash it or do I just wear it until it?
I think it's like
bro.
dreadlocks. I
You
think
just
you
hang
really
it up outside when it needs to like.
you really want them to set in. You know, you want it to just like
Yeah.
Yeah, Febreze is your friend.
set on its own. No, Febreze, that's not the life, man. You know, that's not authentic. If you Febreze it.
Yes, but we're older, so you got to have the Febreze to make it fit in.
I'll like waft some incense.
Just put it out into the sun. Put it out in the sun every once in a while, John. It's self-regenerating.
Do you have any patchouli incense?
Do you tie this part? Like, does this part tie? It seems
No, that just goes, man.
non-functional.
What are you,
Nah.
you going on a job interview, John?
Does this part tie? I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's big. I might need to wash it just to shrink it.
How does your wife
It's
feel about the drug rug?
Oh. Not a fan. she's not liking it. She doesn't like that it came into the house. Period.
Can you describe her reaction when you showed it to her?
Well, no. So it came with my. Joe ordered this for me with the
We should
ring light,
point
which
out
I also
John-
did not want. to
John
be
did
clear.
not want a ring light.
Yeah, no, but it looks good. I'll give you guys that. I opened the box and Suzanne was like, "Are you kidding me with this?" Like, hey, you could ping Joe. It's your boy.
I really like the teal. All you need now is a pair of like those knit gloves. You know, like Joe knows what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
like with the
Vermont
cut
style.
cut off
You know
fingers?
what, Bernie?
Yeah.
You need like Bernie style knit gloves, like he was wearing at the inauguration.
Oh, that
There you
Bernie.
go.
How many
I
Bernies
didn't
do you
like-
know, John?
I don't know. I thought Weekend at Bernie's, like it's a chill movie. Like you know, come
He's
on.
dead, John. There's only one Bernie.
Yeah, it's fair.
He actually is dead in real life and in the movie. So
Didn't he
that's-
wear a drug rug in that at one point? I think
maybe
So
you
maybe
might-
in the second one.
in the
one of
sequel.
them there was a drug rug. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're way off topic. Joe, why don't you tell me what we're drinking tonight?
Beer guts.
So before we get into this, we actually got a request on Twitter, which I thought was a great idea, to give sort of a trigger warning here for folks that maybe don't drink or might be recovering alcoholics. So yeah, we'll figure out a better way to do this, but this is your warning right here. And thanks for listening. So yeah, what the hell's the name of this movie? The Dark and
the Wicked.
The Dark and the Wicked, a heartwarming tale of a family living out on a farm, and just people are dropping dead left and right, I guess, or they're getting ready to. In honor of that beautiful farming and the community they have there, I picked a farmhouse ale, or saison, as you might hear them referred to, from the good folks at Omegang Brewery, which is out in Cooperstown, New York. The beer I picked of theirs is their Hennepin, which I may or may not be saying right, but I feel like I might be. Comes in at 7.7% alcohol, so a little bit up there. You'll find this one in sort of the champagne bottle, or whatever you want to call that. So I haven't done a ton of saisons or farmhouse ales. Generally, they're lighter in color, have a lot more sort of carbonation to them. They're bottle conditioned, which means pretty much you go through the brewing process. They start to ferment, then they're bottled, but then the live active yeast is still in the bottle there. So they continue to sort of ferment and matriculate and do their thing in the bottle. So these are really good for like aging, right? Like you can buy one, and then if you have it at like cellar temperature, let it go for a few years, and the flavors will sort of continue to mature or do their thing. This one has a lot of sort of coriander, ginger, orange peel in the flavor. Very sort of light, almost like refreshing, even though it is like a little bit higher in alcohol. Very good for the summer months or even spring that we're getting into. So, I mean, Omegang, and I feel like they distribute throughout all of North America, even into some other countries. So you should be able to find this one. And they were kind of at the forefront of like these like Belgian style beers, especially here in America. So, I believe they're owned by InBev at this point or some other larger company, but
They do make some good
sometimes-
stuff. I stepped away for a second, Joe. Did you mention they're in New York?
they are. Yeah. Cooperstown, New York. But sometimes you got to suck up to the man.
Where is
want.
Cooperstown?
Um,
Isn't that where the Hall of Fame is?
yeah.
Yes. That and that's it.
It's maybe like an hour and a half from where we grew up.
I do
It's not
remember, you know
far.
what else is there, John? I remember from one of my childhood baseball Hall of Fame trips, there used to be a Hojo's there. I'm guessing not
I mean,
anymore.
Of course.
The
Joe, it's
last-
owned by
yeah.
it's owned by Duvel. So
Oh, there you go.
It
Yeah.
still qualifies as like pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess. The last Hojo's, Eric, located in Lake George, New York.
Oh,
wanna
I didn't
take
know
a
that
trip,
still
yeah.
existed. Wow, that's wild.
Who
Um,
wouldn't want to go there?
So omegang.com is their website. I'm not going to spell it. You can figure that out. And yeah, I mean, their stuff is great. If you're looking to get into Belgians or try and find something a little outside of like your typical beer flavor, like this is definitely a great place to start. So there you go.
Love it. Thanks, Joe.
Me too, man. I love stuff.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about the dark and the wicked.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
John Schnars,
Eric?
regional quiz here. When you were growing up, did you say things were wicked? You grew up in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, not regularly.
Okay, Joe.
Wicked awesome.
Yeah, it came up. Like I don't. We didn't not use it, but it wasn't like a regular.
Did you say Wicked, Joe?
I mean, in reference to the Ice Cube song, absolutely.
Interesting. Cece?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. I said it all the time. And then
We didn't say it in Indiana, just so you know.
And then but then kind of moved away and would meet people from other places, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're from Boston?" I'd be like, "No, I'm from like a place you've never heard of in New York."
I guess I do remember saying like "wicked cool" and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
what I'm
like,
saying.
in my younger days. Yeah.
People don't. Not everybody says that, Joe. That's the point I'm trying to make here.
Ice Cube does.
I assume Cece never called anything wicked cool in her youth.
Definitely no. Missed out on that one.
I'd love to know what the
Wicked awesome.
what the Texas Chainsaw Massacre equivalent of wicked cool is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like awesome. I don't know. Cool.
See, I would have said wicked awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like next
It's kinda
level
like-
awesome.
You sub it out for it, like it's used in a similar way that like fucking would be used.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like from my vocabulary now, like fucking is definitely the adverb that's
Right. I
Look
still
at my
say
youth,
wicked.
I would have said like I got gonorrhea from Wicked.
It hurts wicked bad.
You get that, John? You get what I was doing?
I got you, Joe.
Thanks, buddy.
Following.
Drug rug, bud.
Shrug rug friend. All right, John. Please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word. Many good suggestions, but we went with bucolic.
Ooh.
Yes, relating to the pleasant aspects of the countryside and country life. I thought that was ironic for this film, bucolic, Bucolic. So it comes to us from the Greek word for ox, bous, Bous, which becomes bukolos, herdsman, and eventually bucolic.
Bucolic.
There's also a farming museum in Cooperstown, New York, Eric. I don't know if you've ever been there. That was I think our 5th grade trip was to the farming museum in Cooperstown, New York.
Thrilling.
Love it. Yes, lots of fun field trips to go to in New York, upstate New York. I went to Montreal once. We went to the mall.
I mean, Montreal's pretty dope, but
Yeah, that's all I remember about
there's
it.
other malls you can
Is
go
the
to,
mall.
I think.
I guess I remember we probably went to the stadium there. There's like a baseball stadium there. That sound right? Expos or some shit.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
in a hotel.
They used to have a team. They do not have a team anymore.
Oh, interesting. That's how long ago it was. I
Way to
guess.
remind them. Really
Oh,
rub
I'm
it
thinking
in.
of the Blue Jays, right? The Toronto
That's
Blue
in
Jays are the one.
Toronto, yeah.
Yeah.
For the record, we have malls in Indiana.
There you go. You could have gone to
Oh,
Indiana.
Thanks, Casey.
You come to Minnesota, the Mall of America up there. Which I discovered was really just a mall, but like 3 times as big with the same stuff. So there's like 3
Yep.
gaps. It's not like
What? That's bullshit. Why?
They have multiple versions of the same store.
Why would you do
Yep.
that?
it's literally it's a mall, just like 3 malls shoved together. I mean, there is
Yeah.
like a little amusement park in the center too, which is pretty cool. But there's also a Peeps store. If you're into Peeps, there's a whole store
Yeah,
there's a really
there's some cool stores scattered throughout, but mostly it's all repetition.
there. A lot of repeats. Yeah.
there's a really dope huge mall in Providence, Rhode Island, where literally it has its own exit from the highway. Like you get off the highway and you loop around and you go right into the parking garage, which is just like kind of like a capitalism nightmare, but also like, hey, I'm at the mall now.
I was gonna say you define that as cool. Like,
You know where the second largest mall in America was supposed to be, Eric?
Where?
Crossgates in Colony, New York.
Really?
But the locals shot it down because they thought, whoa, we don't want too many jobs here in Albany. Let's
Joe,
Let's
that mall's real
keep that up.
that mall's real depressing these days. Let me tell you about it.
'cause I haven't been in probably 15 years at least.
It's not great. Hey, John.
Eric, are we done with mall talk? Is
That
it-
Used
mall-
to be a Bugaboo Creek there to bring it all back.
That's
to
how
to
that's how I'm familiar with Bugaboo Creek. Yes, we
Yep.
did bring it back.
Jesus.
John,
Hooters,
although now
it's a
I'm really just
Hooters.
wondering, I really just want to look up the world's last Hojos now and check that out.
like Joe already told you where it is. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go
what else-
Google it while you're
yeah,
talking,
what do you
John.
need to know? You got a Hojo's Wikipedia sitting right here.
I'm going to go Google it while you're talking, John. Why don't you tell us about The Dark and the Wicked?
The Dark and the Wicked. So I think, Eric, you mentioned at the top, this comes to us from Brian Bertino, not the famed ice skater. Writer, director. Yeah, I mean, most well known for writing and directing The Strangers. He's done a couple other movies. I hadn't seen these, and as we can discuss, I'm actually kind of interested to see him. The Monster. Anybody
he had
seen
done I'm on his Wikipedia. He did a handful of things I'd never heard of.
Yeah, well, he's directed. He's got 4 directing credits, with The Strangers being the first thing. He did a movie called Mockingbird, and then a movie called The Monster. Which, yeah, I mean, I'm actually interested to watch both of those at this point. But
really quick, Joe.
Oh, it's the restaurant. It's the restaurant is the last one in.
Joe,
in
there's a
Georgia.
website called Eater, which someone wrote like a long ass like think piece about visiting the last Howard Johnson. So I'm
that
queuing
warms
this
my
up
heart.
for
Eater's
tomorrow.
it's like a big website these days.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure, John, I believe you. Go ahead. Continue.
All right. So Brian Bertino, The Dark and the Wicked. This is on Shudder. We should shout out our friends at Shudder, which is where we watch this. This is the story of Luis and Michael, who venture to their parents' home where their mom is effectively, I mean, they live on this farm, although it's not like a working farm where there's like crops. I think it's mainly just goats.
Sheeps, right? I don't know. Weren't they mostly
No,
Oh,
they
they were
have
sheep.
both. They have
I
goats
saw
and
both.
sheep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. I was like, I thought there were some goats, but so the mom is there. She is struggling from a mental health standpoint, let's say, and it mostly that has to do with the fact that she's there with the father, who's dying. I mean, he's not even really a character. He doesn't move from the bed for the whole film. But so the 2 kids, the adult children, sort of like come back to the home. And basically, as soon as they get there, the mom's kind of like, "Hey, I told you not to come," or "I asked you not to come." And you know,
they play that song "Mama Told Me Not to Come"? Do you think he ever hums that in his head?
yeah, she was humming that to herself while she was.
Oh, Mama told me not to come.
Yeah. But pretty quickly, I mean, this is like in the first 20 minutes of the movie, the mom hangs herself.
3 Dog Night, John.
There's not a lot of 3 Dog Night. It's a lot more suicide in this film than that.
Well, her biggest problem is she had too many fingers. I think was the,
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Dude,
we can come
that
back to
scene.
that, but yeah. So the mom kills herself, and really the rest of the film is like the kids in this home where they can't leave, or they are not comfortable leaving because the dad is there, but they are being driven slowly insane by something. TBD, to be discussed, I guess. And I mean, that's it. That's the setup. I don't know. We can kind of talk about some of the stuff that happens along the way.
No, that's pretty good. Cece, what'd you think?
Yeah. So I saw
We should point out too. You grew up on somewhat of a farm, right? Like in a
in
farmhouse.
the setting, I believe this is.
Yes, it wasn't as intense of a farm as this.
It was like a cicada farm.
Did
No.
you have crops? Because they did not seem to have crops here.
No, we had horses. My grandmother didn't get goats until I moved to the city. And like I told y'all, a goat getting in your house is literally the biggest nightmare. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I had seen this, seen the preview for this a while ago, and I didn't realize it was the director for The Strangers. The tone makes a whole lot more sense. I mean, it did not make sense, but I can definitely see his style throughout the entire movie. Yeah, I thought I watched it during the middle of the day and was still pretty actively unsettled. So overall, I enjoyed it. I think that there were maybe a few spots that could have maybe done with a little more polishing so that you could have followed a little better. But I thought all of the performances were really great. Marin, I can't think of her last name, but the actress who plays Louise, I really like. I think she's in Sneaky Pete and some other stuff, but I really like her a lot. And I think that she does a very good job of kind of embodying that, or I guess channeling the fear that her mom initially does. So Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know that you have to grow up on a farm to be as creeped out as this, but it definitely helps because I was like, well, I haven't been home in a while and don't really miss it
You're
right
good.
now.
Good.
Don't need to go see it right now.
Her name's Marin Ireland, which
That's
I almost want to accuse her of taking a stage name because that is
What a
thing.
great tribute on St. Patty's Day for us to do this.
There you go.
This movie. Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm pretty in line with Cece. I think I'm glad I watched this during the day because I feel like the wife and I wanted to watch something a little more lighthearted last night, and I had a hunch this was not it.
Yeah.
And I think I made the right call. I think, Eric, you pointed out over email that it does get a little bit repetitive, right? Like it's kind of 20 minutes of quiet slowness, something spooky happens, 20 minutes of quiet slowness, and then things ramp up. But I would say this is probably like one of the eeriest movies we've watched in a long time. Like,
Yeah.
definitely by the end, things reach a crescendo at certain parts, and it's
Ooh.
very much like a
Word of the day.
yeah. I don't know if it has like a punch in the gut like some of the other movies we've seen. It's not. You kind of see it coming, I want to say, but still, it doesn't make it any less impactful. So, I was a little on the fence, I want to say, like in the first half hour or so, because it did feel like maybe we were just going to start going for cheap jump scares. But there's definitely some like cringy stuff that happens in that time. And then by the end, I think I was pretty much on board with the whole thing.
Casey.
So this is a movie I was riveted throughout, like the first act. I thought it was fantastic in the way it unfolded. I was really hooked on it, really drawn in. And then as we carried on through the second and third act, it kind of got repetitive and just got kind of stretched out. And it didn't quite live up to the same as what the first act was for me. So by the end, I still enjoyed it by the end of the movie, but it wasn't quite what I hoped it would be.
Eat my banana. John.
Riveted
yeah.
for John's pleasure.
Cece, did you notice that I'm just breaking pieces off now because you made me self-conscious?
I'm sorry.
I found this movie very scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the scariest things we've seen in a while. Like to the point where I was like legit uncomfortable watching it by myself in the dark.
No, Johnny.
I mean, look, like it's really well done. Like it is a really good, straight up like horror movie. It's certainly there's a little bit of like, horror movie jump scare mechanics stuff that he's using. It is a little cheap, but it got me 100%. Like just totally scared the shit out of me, And all that being said, like. And it's funny because I haven't seen the other films, but it reminds me of Strangers in the way that he develops tension in the space within scenes. He's just really effective at that stuff. He has a very natural sense. I mean, he also wrote the film, right? So it's a lot of it has to do with like the pacing and the structure, as well as like the individual content of scenes. So he's just really effective at that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, quote unquote, in the way that you enjoy a horror movie that really kind of puts you through the ringer. But it's not like a feel good, laugh out loud, knee slapper. Like this thing was a bit of a ride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There are things this movie does incredibly well. I think that it is just some very, very well realized atmosphere and creepiness. Like this whole, one of my favorite parts of the movie was just the house itself, and not even, from the outside, but like the inside of that house felt so authentic and lived in. Like just how things were placed and like just the way it was aged. Like it felt like they just moved some crusty farm people out and didn't touch a thing and shot in there. Like that's what it feels like.
Some crusty farm people.
And I think that I love the main actress. Again, like she feels so authentic in the role, not only just like in who she is, but this grief that she's going through. I like the brother a lot too, but I think maybe a little less so than the sister. I think so. I enjoyed this movie. I think there's aspects of it that are really well made. The sound design in particular is really, really effective, and it's a huge part of the scares in the film. Like, we'll talk about this recurring thing of the sort of bootleg tripwire system she's made outside of the.
Yeah.
Trick question, John. Why didn't she just close the door? I don't know.
Because obviously he can open the door. You saw that
True.
he opened the door when Louise closed it. So
that's
true.
Very
that's a folklore-ish thing to do. Like those are like they're like blessed charms.
I like the very randomness of the objects hanging from it. I think ultimately for me that it is the repetitiveness that to me stops this from going from being like a pretty good movie to like a really fantastic one, like The Strangers or something. Because I think that, like, spoiler alert, this movie kind of has one thing up its sleeve, and that is demon scares you and freaks you out with an image that's not real until you kill yourself. And it's like that. So when Joe says there's a scare and then 20 minutes and then a scare, like eventually that's what the movie devolves into, and that's it. Like nothing else happens basically until kind of the very
20
end.
minutes is long. Like it might
but
feel like
but my
minutes,
point
but
is that like
it's closer to like 18.
It doesn't really feel like it escalates, because there's another interesting thing going on here, John. I was thinking about this last week with our discussion of The Stylist, about kind of drawing that line between your, like, so much of, we've joked a lot in the last year, right? Like so much about the movies that have kind of really gotten to me personally over the last year are what I would call like grief porn. Like really, that's kind of what I'm talking about when I talk about these movies that are like really brutal. In a lot of instances, it's like, hey, you like some grief? Well, let's rub it in your face for 90 minutes. Just like get up in your nostrils, make sure you're smelling it really good. What we talked about,
really evocative with your,
but we talked about with The Stylist was like the way it was, even though it was bleak, it leans so far over the genre-ness line of it, like going with the genre feel, that it kind of like rounds the edges off of it a little bit. This movie, I feel like in some ways can't decide what it wants to be. Like, does this want to be a modern prestige horror film about grief, or does it want to be a jump scary supernatural movie where a dude stands next to you in the shower and his face moves blurry and weird? Like, I feel like he gets up to those scare moments and he doesn't, like, because it does in some of those moments really lean into the genre stuff, which is fine. That's great. And like, it's also okay to make a really serious film about like human shit, like grief. But I'm just like, there's parts where it feels uncalibrated to me, and it's kind of where I feel like I don't know where he's taking me in the end of this by the time it's over, other than just trying to make me feel bummed out, which he accomplished. So, but again, like, I think this film is very accomplished visually. I think there's incredible atmosphere, and like, it's very creepy. Something about it doesn't like tie all together for me.
I think I actually think that the way you put that is really, really accurate, because it's not that, like, I really enjoyed it. It's just, well, as much as you can, being, completely bummed out and just kind of depressed by the end of it. But I think that's kind of what I meant by like needing the edges polished a little bit. Like, I just wasn't like, if you're going to talk about grief, then okay. Or if we're going to go into a more supernatural, like, I don't need you to explain the demon or like what exactly, I mean, I get it. Like, he wants his soul, like, that's totally fine. But there's just like, I don't know, the motivation never really follows through in that end. And it really made me think about, or I guess make comparisons to that. I think it was 2015, the movie Demon, the Polish movie, where like the groom is possessed by a Dybbuk at his wedding. Anyway,
we didn't do that on the show. I think I know what movie you're talking about.
Okay. I don't remember if we did it on the show. I think that we had just seen it, but it's in the same kind of vein where like, it's so realistic and like, it's so bleak and natural, but then there's just a weird, like, I don't know, the lines are never clearly drawn enough for you to be like, okay, this is where we're going. But that being said, I mean, there even the jump scares outside of the shower one was a little hokey to me. But him seeing his mom, like,
Yeah.
if I saw that, I would shit myself. Like that, no.
Yep.
No,
And
like
also,
That reminded
sorry.
me of, like, was it The Wind, where they used really great use of those flat planes and just like the distance and stuff.
It's just like, where are you going? Like, oh yeah, like I see the thing out there. It's
and well,
no,
and also just a personal tidbit, real quick. The way that light is at, like, I don't know if this guy grew up on a farm or what, but he has the lighting down really well, because the light, like, we have one light in our yard that is, you know, I mean, it's like a street lamp, but for some reason it only glows green. So like everything is a very weird, like, green tint. And him looking out the window and seeing her, I was like, oh God, like I can, like, I got that personal feeling of like, I've been here before, and no thanks.
it's funny because I was thinking, I'm like, why is it so light outside right now? Like, because even in the night scenes, they have the shades down and the like shades are kind of glowing a little
Yeah.
bit.
And that's what
That's,
it feels like. Like it's
wow.
like when you close the blinds, like it, and it's such an unnatural.
I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have survived.
Yeah. Kyle hates spending the night at that house. He hates it.
Oh, is
That could be the
that
demon
wait, that
too,
house,
yes.
that house is still
Yeah.
in the family, huh?
Eric, you're so, you know, it kills me when I have to say this, but that was actually, I agree with everything you said. Like, it was very
Cool.
your analysis, very well put.
This is it. This is when you two finally hook up. It's finally
No,
I
happening.
know, I'm really
That's
feeling the
like
tension.
drug.
Oh.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Buddy, John, like when you get scared at night, you can call Eric. He's always there for you. As long as it's
don't
not
know
past
that
9
both of
p.m.
you can fit into the drug rug together.
Ooh.
I bet we could.
Well, no, the point I was going to make is like the standard that it feels like you're holding it to is like really, really high. Like it's what
I'm
if
not.
he had
Listen,
a
that's a good movie. But,
no. Well,
you know,
that's what I was going to say. Is like I agree. Like there are times where it kind of falls short of it wants to. It can't decide which way it's going. I mean the blurry face thing when she's in the shower.
It's a
I was
real-
like, what the
like,
fuck?
It
Yeah.
is a moment kind of so out of left field with the rest of this movie that's in particular. I realize it's a moment, but it's a moment where I feel like it's a personal thing. It's like a pet peeve of mine when a movie cannot communicate to me what it is, and I kind of thought I knew what this was, and then shaky face in the shower, and I'm like, wait, what
Well,
the fuck is this?
and
Well,
I
just
felt
him
this-
standing there would have been enough. Like that would have
Yes.
been creepy
Exactly.
enough. I don't need his
It also
face
made me
shaking
wonder,
at
like,
me.
and
what
then-
movies have
Yeah.
you been watching, dude? Like, what? Like, you
Yeah.
got
Well,
that
no,
from
they-
somewhere.
I felt the same
someone
way about
showed up in the shower with you is, you know, it's fine on its own.
when the caretaker who's like living, you know, there's a scene when he kills himself and it's like the daughter
They do
shows
some
up and
herky
she's
jerky bullshit in that scene too.
yeah, she's like herky jerky, but she's like cutting herself with a knife. It's like all like that felt like a little out of
But
left field.
Which-
like
also,
those
if
are
we're gonna
two of
talk
the
about
most
that-
key scares in the movie too, and that's kind of like an issue for me, especially the daughter one especially.
Well, but it was weird because, okay, so if we're gonna talk about it being like a paranormal part, like a paranormal movie that's dealing with, you know, this demon that's wanting to steal souls of this man and his family, like it also, I don't know, the linear explanation of that doesn't make sense to me, like in that regard, because it's supposed to be like these connections and these loves that you have. And I understand like the caretaker is really close with, like, the caretaker of the farm or the farmhand is really close to the family, but like, why? I don't know. Like, it was weird that he used her to make him to kill himself. And then when the daughter called the priest, who all of a sudden was in Chicago, and like it wasn't even a real, like there's just some like weird things that like just don't make sense. And I'm like, well, why didn't we explore that a little bit more? But I will say the moment where the brother goes home, like that was really depressing.
Yeah, and it's a little
Yeah,
it's a little
that was the worst part of the movie.
That was
I mean,
I
like,
would rather
hardest
watch her
part
cut
of
her fingers
egregious,
off again than watch
like
that part.
over the top. I don't know, like it kind of like I don't know about that part. Also, really quick though, the thing with the priest, I'm torn on that because again, like spoilers. I love the suggestion at some point in the movie that anybody they may have talked to on this property was not real. That's
Oh,
actually a
sure.
really great mind fucking
Yeah,
kind of
I
moment.
like that a lot.
The problem with the way they wrote it is like, why Chicago, right? How did she not know
Yeah.
she was calling Chicago? It's not like he used to live there and he moved there, so maybe she's
Yeah.
calling like a self. Like you had
Well,
to,
and then why
your
did-
ass
why
had to
did they-
dial 1 and an area code to get to Chicago from
Right.
that fucking
Well, and
phone.
then for him to say that, like, you sound like my daughter, like, what are you
It's-
trying to say?
That was the point. So the point I was gonna make.
They
was,
could have
like,
done that exact thing and just made it clearer and less confusing.
No,
Yeah.
but like Cece, you
a nice
seem
city.
to have understood what was going on with the demon here. I felt like it
I
was
didn't.
like there was like one click less information that I was like I just had no goddamn idea, even at the end of
No,
the film, like
same.
what was the end goal of this demon? Now, it was a scary ass demon. Like this demon scared
Yeah.
me, it scared the family, like lots of people killed themselves. So like, you know,
Well,
objective
John,
shit,
I mean,
but, like,
but to be honest,
Job
I feel like
done.
I only know that because I've seen other movies where they're like, I mean, it's a very
you lived on a farm. All right, we
Well,
get
yes,
it. There was
but-
John,
it's
the
also
demon
very, like-
accomplished his goal of inhabiting the body,
Documentary of
inhabiting
Cece's
the body of the person who the closest to death in this scenario. Like, he wanted the most useless body of anyone in this house.
Well, and that was the other thing too. Like, okay, I even in other like demon movies we've seen or I've seen, like, I get it that like they're a really good person and like they talk about the dad being like a good man and like the demon wants his soul, but like, I mean, yeah, he's a dude who lives on a farm. Like, what? I mean, that's great. Listen, there are lots of good men out there who are hardworking, living on a farm. I
like,
get it, but I'm like, why?
I don't
do
think
you
that
need to
squares
possess
with,
all these other people,
and I don't think it
to
really
get his
squares.
soul?
I don't think it really squares to the very end either. Like, okay, like getting his soul and like inhabiting his body are not the
Well,
same
I mean,
thing,
I get
right?
that you got all these other people's souls because they killed themselves. So like you get multiples for one, but
Well, so the whole thing I was waiting for the entire time, and this is like one of my, I have two main criticisms of the film. I'm going to get to the second in a little bit, but like, I was waiting for some, like, what was the thing that invited the demon? Like, was the demon just there the whole time? Like, there was no demon, like, when the kids were little, right? Like, it was
Right.
There's demons.
Nobody
was-
knows because
there was
the
the
closest you ever get to that is like fake context you think you're getting from the priest, who's actually just the demon. So
Yeah.
you can't take anything the priest said.
which I mean,
And all
yeah,
the
I mean,
priest said is
you
like
don't
she
have
knew
to
what
have
was
a-
going on.
I mean, demons can just show up when they feel like showing up. Like they're just bored and they need to
I-
watch their drug rug. So they
For the
find
purposes of a
plot.
movie, though, like give me something. Like,
I thought
know,
that the
I know.
mom like invited the demon to try to like heal the dad or something. Like that's what I was
Yeah.
waiting for, was like something like that.
interesting. I didn't thought of that.
The other thing that I was thinking the entire time this movie was happening, and Cece, you just sort of made me think of this, but like, look, dad's a really nice guy. But like, if you're this daughter and this son, I would burn this fucking house to the ground, and
Right,
I
it's
would
just-
leave the first time I saw that
kept
mom.
I kept
Yeah.
thinking like they're like, well, we'll call the hospital. We'll call, and I'm like, look, I know it's rough, but put his ass in a wheelchair and leave him at the hospital.
Hey,
Like,
hey, did you
what
see
the fuck?
Naked Dead Mom?
Right.
Maybe we should get out of here.
The
Did you see that
doctor's
mom
like,
cut her own
sorry.
fingers off
Wha-
and then hung herself, but there's no way she could have hung herself. We should totally stay. Like,
Yeah.
what?
The
No.
doctor was like, yeah, sorry, I'm not going to authorize his like
Yeah,
transfer to the hospital.
okay.
It's like, too bad. I'm driving to the hospital. I'm dumping him on the Just-
Yeah. Well, and also it's like, why
I don't
you
think
just
that's how
roll him over
hospitals
and
work,
let him
John.
suffocate himself. Like, there's lots of ways that could have just been like, oops, he's dead. Okay, we gotta go.
Oops, he's dead.
I'm with Cece on this, just to be clear. So
Just saying.
Oops, this rope got tighter on his foot and then ran out to the truck outside, and then we just
That's like,
drove.
oops, we
You
knocked the
live on a-
candle over and the whole house.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dude,
John.
weird shit happens on farms
John,
all the time. He
literally-
fallen in the
Exactly.
Blame it
combine.
on
I don't
Naked
know.
Dead Mom.
John, literally everything in that house is like ready to go up in
Yes,
flames.
It's totally wood. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say that scene scene in the kitchen with the hand chopping was real
Oh.
jacked up.
Yeah.
Because then she started mincing it, and I was like,
Ooh.
Wow. You can't put big chunks like that in the
I was
stews.
trying to
See,
cut potatoes
How are you gonna put
for
those
dinner
down-
tonight,
how are you-
and I was like,
Listen.
oh, I can't do this.
How are you gonna put
There's
those
some
down?
fantastic Foley work on display here.
Oh yeah.
How are you gonna put those down the toilet if you don't chop them up? Is all I'm saying. They're just gonna get stuck. It's no good.
I see what you did there.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just there's like some logic holes, and I feel like it just. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with John. Like this was really creepy and scared me. But the way that I can unscare myself is to be like, there's a lot of holes here that don't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
No, as a vehicle for scariness, and some of that's jump scares, some of it's like legit creepy ass scenes.
Hmm.
It's really good. But yeah, if you start like poking at it, it's
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was saying too, like the creepiness factor. Like if you've lived that far out in the country or like on a farm, those scenes are, I mean, they're gorgeous. Like they're very well shot in terms of like embodying that creepiness of being like, okay, well, I've got to go check on the animals, or I've got to go like. My brother and I would race each other to the barn at night to like turn off lights because we were like, I mean, it really wasn't even that far. It was like maybe half of a football field. And we were like, no, like that distance, like so many things could get you. So
Oh yeah.
I totally get it. And it was well done, but I'd like to poke the holes in it because it was a little too creepy, a little too real.
But that leads to what I was saying. The first act of this is fantastic. The
Mhm.
first act
Yeah.
is really tense, and it kind of peaks with when they find Mom in the barn. And then after you get past that, though, they're just kind of repeating the same things over and over, and it just kind of draws out.
Yeah.
The relationship between the brother and the sister I really like. Like I thought it was interesting, right? Like, we've seen a lot of, as Eric has mentioned, a lot of grief movies, but this one was almost about this. They felt like this loyalty, this like obligation. There were other emotions that were kind of baked in here that felt real and honest,
Mhm.
combined with like the scariness of having to like race to see which one's gonna like turn the lights
Grief
on. I guess.
is a
I mean,
Right.
grief is
there
a,
was some of that for sure.
grief is a kaleidoscope, John.
Yeah, yes,
There's many aspects
it
to
is.
it.
My favorite Rusted Root song.
How does that one go?
I can't even come up with something
Damn.
right now.
I thought maybe I'd get you to jump into it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to like say more about this movie because we kind of described literally everything that happens in the whole movie, except there's that messed up scene where they find all the dead sheep and goats and stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty jarring.
I thought
Yeah.
the best piece of acting from the brother is him just totally losing his shit at that scene of just like being frustrated to the point of not being
Yeah.
able to deal with it.
I was totally supportive when he left. I was just like, yeah, cool. Finally, someone like did the logical thing.
Yeah.
Got
If the
fuck out
demons
of-
like,
yeah,
ho-
no,
how?
I know where you're going.
What
If
do you
the
mean, like,
demon's
how did he
capable of
go
just
home then?
slaughtering a whole pack of sheep, why can't he just slaughter all these people that he wants to kill?
Well, because technically, like,
Does he need them to commit suicide?
yeah, because it's the whole thing that like there's different schools of theory on this, but a main one is that a demon can't take your soul unless you invite it in, or unless you make that choice to give it to them, or like to give up. And so like that's why,
Relinquish your soul.
yeah, like
I
that's
can't
Got it.
believe Eric didn't know that.
I know. Well, so my brain in these scenarios, when I see a scene like that, where it's like, oh, here's a field full of like slaughtered sheep, I can't help but just be like, what did this look like? Did they start popping like popcorn all of a sudden? Was it invisible? Was there like a visible demon? Did the demon
Dude, that
possess a
would've been
wolf and then the wolf
terrifying
fucked
to
up the
see.
sheep? I need to know.
I
this
loved
stuff.
when they were just throwing the deer carcasses. Like that was like,
Onto the fire, like
yeah.
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 I was like, holy shit, this is a scene. They,
Yeah.
big ass fire.
They went to
You
a
know?
butcher to pick those up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Looks pretty
Yeah.
real. All right, this is streaming on Shudder, right?
Yes.
Shudder. Actually, yeah. You know what? I caught it. I wasn't like planning to watch it, and I caught it on Shudder TV and was like, well, I got to watch it for the show this week. So then I kind of just let it happen to me, which was an interesting way to do like a movie for the show.
What a fun little backstory we just got, Eric.
Thanks, Joe.
And then what'd you do after the movie ended?
I went to sleep.
Oh,
Yeah, it was late. It was
Okay.
like midnight.
I would not have gone to sleep after this.
It didn't really scare me. I mean, like it was creepy, but I wasn't like that creeped out.
No, it's good.
I wasn't like that night I left the theater and saw one of those giant sloth decals in somebody's window and almost shit my pants. Have you guys seen these things? All right, I'll find it during the break here. It's
What?
the most terrifying thing you've ever seen in your fucking life.
Wait,
And
what was the movie though?
it was a scary movie. I don't remember. It was something for the show. I was already like amped up coming out of the parking lot, and I turned and saw this thing, and like I'm surprised I don't know. I've never been that scared in my fucking life. I'm gonna go find it right now.
Interesting. I'm very interested.
All right. Would you recommend this, Cece?
Did you say Cece? Yes,
Cece.
I would.
Joe,
Yeah. Why not?
John,
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes too.
Casey.
Yeah, I'd say yes.
I'm also gonna say yes, and Joe, I will need my top 10 on the other side. of this.
Oh, okay.
All right.
This was technically a 2020,
Oh,
but
that's right. That's right.
You know.
No, you're right. It's a 2020. It came out last year.
We talked about covering this right at the end of the year. and we
Stand
just
down,
weren't able
Joe.
to get it.
Stand down. Okay, guys. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Experience the most exciting night at the movies this summer.
Very intense. I'm still shaking. I've never seen anything like this.
Experience the abyss.
Unbelievable. They dragged me here and I loved it.
There's always something happening.
It was thrilling.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Blew my mind. It felt like you were right there in the middle of the screen.
The abyss.
It blew Batman out of the water.
Rated PG-13.
Now playing Check Your Newspapers for Showtimes.
Hello, I'm Nell Campbell from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you're listening to Bloody Good Horror.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
What do you guys say? Can we get a verdict on whether or not that sloth thing is scary?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty.
It's
that's
got
pretty
fucking
scary.
those red eyes, and it's like full size. It looks like a full size thing sitting in the backseat of someone's car. I got so embarrassed / angry at myself about how scared I got.
If you're not expecting it, you're walking around.
Dude, and I was already amped up. Like, imagine seeing this movie and then walking through a dark parking lot. You already got a little like scoot under your butt getting to your car. You know what I mean?
I feel like its little hand is supposed to be like maybe towards the top of the windows.
Right, like I
it's
thought it was.
supposed to be-
Yeah.
It's fucking terrifying, dude. That person has bad karma now for scaring me that bad. info@bloodygoodhorror.com. We got some stuff here. Andy, this weekend, Bloody Good Horror. We're checking out the South by Southwest Online Film Festival. Highlights so far include the documentary Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, a history of folk horror. Mickey Keating's new film, Off Season. You know Mickey Keating, right, Joe?
Oh, good old Mickey. Yeah, one of the founding members of the Monkees.
The Monkees,
I
right?
believe. Mickey Keating, yeah.
And Barbara Crampton, Larry Fessenden-led movie called Jacob's Wife. Folks can check out all the reviews as they roll in throughout the week. Dude, Barbara Crampton and Larry Fessenden. Sign me up for that one. I'm down for that.
Yep.
I think we did. I think literally you are signed up for that one. I think we've got.
All right. Cece, really quick. Where did the book club go? There's a Reddit now, right?
Yes, it has moved over to the Reddit, and I meant to look that up.
I think it's
But,
BGH
yes.
Book Club.
Yes, I think it's BGH Book Club on Reddit. We
So you
are
don't-
no longer on Goodreads. Alyssa, who's been running it for us and is amazing, moved it over to Reddit. So go there to check it out.
And you don't have to be on Slack or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
and you don't have to be on Slack.
Cool. We got one email this week. Caitlin and Kissimmee. A. Whoever suggested Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker on Ask BGH, bless you. I am obsessed with learning about this insane movie. Please, if you get a free week, review it. And then actually a bunch of people are talking about it on Slack. It sounds completely batshit crazy.
Is it on Shudder? I think it's on Shudder, isn't it?
Butcher.
B, Oats Studio Volume 1 is unreal and worth every second of your time. Review it. I don't know what that means.
What is that the same? Did you just completely switch topics, Eric, or what just
She
happened
is.
here?
She's doing an A and a B situation.
Oh, I see.
I don't know. I should look these up.
I gotta say, this week's Tea Talk and today's taxes conversation on Slack.
Anytime there's people start talking about taxes, I'm like, cool. I guess I'm gonna shut this for 4 hours until it's done.
Like, I know I don't pay for the Slack membership, but I wanted my money back after the last few days.
Yeah, I don't want reminders of how much I owe.
Right, I come here to talk about not adult things.
It's
C,
more the teeth thing, right?
From Caitlin, you're all amazing, and I'm 1/3 of the way through listening to all back episodes in order. It's been a few weeks and 8 to 9 episodes a day, but it's been a blast seeing how much the podcast has evolved in the relationship you all have. Caitlin and Kissimmee. She's getting.
She knows that, like, at a certain, like, Cece, I forget what episode joined, but then, like, before 100, like, I'm not there either. So,
yeah.
I mean, Joe, she's 1/3 of the way through. She's already to you, so don't worry, Joe. It's okay.
Probably to Cece too, I think.
I was gonna say mine was as above, so below.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I feel like
I remember that's the episode we discovered that, like, John really isn't that smart, right? Like, we're.
That's, I never said that, by the way. That was all something.
I think it was like the Duke thing.
That was episode 301, so that's basically slightly less than halfway through the catalog. So she's already, or she's not to you yet. She is to Joe.
Yeah. You're welcome.
That came out. Oh, these aren't dated correctly, so I actually don't know. Anyway, info at bloodygoodhorror.com. Joe.
I would hope after 15 years you all know that I like bad movies.
What's that?
Are we on? We've got to be like 13 at this point, right?
That's not.
No, it's 14 because it was 2007. No.
Oh,
should do one of those
Casey's
meetup
allowed to
things,
round up sometimes.
Is it 14? I'm not good at math. The math, John. That's fucking crazy.
Isn't that weird? Like, eventually the show will be old enough to drink. What do we do?
Oh,
hopefully.
I just got dizzy thinking about that. All right, Joe. What else we got floating out there today?
We are on Twitter at BG Horror. Every week we use the hashtag AskBGH if you want to send in a question or, just a comment like this first person from Erie, Arizona. Does this guy from the Tripping Daisies music video kind of look like Schnars? What's your opinion? And I probably should have sent you all this like while we're talking. Do you guys remember Tripping Daisies? It was this band. They sang that I Got a Girl.
I got a girl.
Yeah.
Na, 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 na.
I actually remember it.
That's all I know.
Please don't ever do that
the
again.
Song that Casey's singing, but I don't remember.
Unfamiliar. No, I don't remember any of that stuff that you're talking about.
Here, I'll put the picture. It has a John-esque sort of look about him, although a little bit younger, a little more sprightly.
Younger. My God.
Oh, I mean this I want to say this was like late 90s, maybe early 2000s that they were popular. John, you're aging, buddy. All right.
I'll evaluate this.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that does look like Schnars.
A little bit, right?
Whoa, yeah, it does.
I actually don't remember this video.
Sure does. And with the hair now, especially.
That first picture is spot on.
Oh, John, can you get a little gold hoop earring like this guy? Can we just test it out?
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
No.
Say the word, John, and it'll be in the mail.
I know.
If we could see his drug rug, it'd be fucking spot on.
Can you go to like what do they used to call those things in the mall? What were those things in the mall that where you like get your ear pierced? They had
the piercing pagoda.
Piercing pagoda.
Yes.
What? You didn't just go to Claire's?
Can we just well, that was like it was a kiosk out in the mall with this piercing pagoda.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it was like open
pagoda was my first.
It was
time.
like open air, so you'd like everybody could see it happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we should make that a Patreon tier. Schnars gets his ears pierced.
I'm not getting,
God.
guys, come on.
And then for like a few weeks, you'd have to wear like a stud in there until you.
Oh, and then it gets
I've made it this
infected.
far in my life. I'm not getting my goddamn ear pierced.
Oh come on.
Oh, John, don't judge, all right? Some of us.
Yeah.
No, I mean, God bless anyone.
There
who wants
are
to get their
amounts
ear
of money
pierced.
at
Like,
which I would talk about it.
God, you're sounding a little Republican-y right now. To be honest with your judgment, but all right.
I'm up to at least 3 piercings. Another one's not a big deal.
There you go.
Next up from our good friend Alex Jones. Did you figure out who hacked you? Was it that motherfucker Jeff Fahey?
I love how we get hacked. Like, okay, this is a thing that happens sometimes. Like, according to Mark, we're on like a group server with a bunch of other sites. So if like the high level stuff gets hacked, like all the sites do, and then you just clean it up, whatever. Mark's like trying to fix it. Joe goes and tweets about it while Mark's trying to fix it. Yeah, he's never gonna like outright tell you because he's Mark, but he was like, I maybe wouldn't have tweeted about it. You know what that means, Joe. You know what that means. You're on a list.
No,
so then Joe tweeted about it again.
I mean, at that point, you got to double down.
I just want to throw in there that with the site being hacked, my job day to day is dealing with hackers. So let me know.
Casey, I feel like it's
I like how you
we're bringing in
Casey,
the army to fight like fucking little
like literally
like
call customer service.
Also, I
and
like
wait
how
on
you
hold.
think any of us have any control over what Mark does. Like, go talk to him, bro.
Yeah, I Godspeed. I'm here for it, but
yeah,
I probably could have told you how they got in.
Next up from Fusilo Toro, what do you think is scarier, rural horror or urban horror?
The rural
horror.
It's too broad of a question. Like, it all depends on who's directing and what
No,
the city can be
it's
scary.
definitely rural. I'm
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, more rural for
John,
me.
what about
I would agree
John?
with John,
What
but I
about-
like urban horror better.
John,
I
what
think
about-
urban horror?
I
is
like
more
urban
fun.
horror, but rural you get more cults mixed in, and I like that.
John, what about Candyman? I'm just saying it can be
Yeah,
scary.
look, I'm not saying there's not good.
I mean, I have
urban
one
horror.
good example, but still.
We can like both.
What about Tales from the Hood, John?
Oh.
Two Tales from the Hood
What
2.
about Jason Takes Manhattan?
Oh, dude,
You know, like
that
the
shit is
one
dope.
Jason- yeah.
All right. Next up, and I'm petrified. One, because Renee is my one and only true fan, and two, she called me out like a couple weeks ago for like, she pretty much said like, I'm gonna fucking find you and murder you if you just stop, can say my name right. So Deus Ex Manatee. God, I hope I said it right.
Isn't it? Wait, hold
Please.
on 1 second, Joe, because this always bothers me too. Can you spell the first word of that?
Deus.
It's Deus.
Deus.
It's-
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
You say Deo, Deus or Deos or something? It's
Deus?
Deus.
It still counts.
Let's be honest, Eric. Close to fucking enough.
I think Joe's on par.
It's
Oh.
like
It's
a
like-
roller coaster ride every time.
Yeah.
So-
And I love her because she listens to the show, and literally like within 10 minutes, I'll get a message on Slack being like, no.
No, but this has
asshole,
been
no."
bothering me since before she brought it up. It's like Deus Ex Machina. It's a playoff of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And we
exactly.
should have Joe say Deus Ex Machina every week and just see how you play that on loop.
See how it evolves.
What's your opinion on spooky movies that never fully show you the monster? Do you feel slighted if you don't see the full shebang, or would you prefer to use your imagination?
I mean,
I
Blair
feel like most of the time when show the
Imagination.
monster, I'm really disappointed. So
Blair
Yeah,
Witch is one of my
yeah.
Blair Witch is one of my all-time favorite movies. So like, but so is The Thing. It really depends on the execution.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends.
It's the thing. It's whatever. It's not even like a monster, right? It's like it.
Well, it's
Can be
many
anything.
monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing's kind of its own thing, right?
We didn't talk about it. I meant to bring this up. Did you all notice that it's like the second scene of this film, there's a shot of all the sheep, and in there is the fucking demon. Like I swear to God, I didn't like rewind it, but I'm pretty sure if you took a screen grab, it's like a dude with a white face mask on. Did you guys
Oh.
see this?
I'll have to go back.
Yeah,
but I mean,
now-
I mean now because now I want to see it. But I will say, like in the ritual, like I thought that monster design was fucking
Super good.
fantastic.
Yeah. It's tough.
So-
Like when the payoff is really good,
Yeah.
it's great. But if it's shitty, it's like you should have just let it go, right? All right. Next up from I think first time question, JL Kemble. What's your favorite horror remake? I mean, I think we all loved the Evil Dead remake, right?
Yeah, that was pretty great.
It was our film of the year a couple of years back.
The Crazies is probably the biggest
Crazies
upgrade.
is pretty good.
we've ever
Crazies
seen.
is pretty good too.
I do like the original, but that's
Where
know
do we
you
net
do.
out on Evil Dead 2? Does that count as a remake?
it kind of is, honestly. It's like a it's like a
100%
reboot,
is.
sort of like reboot / sequel. I don't know. I'm not.
I love both of them, but that's a really.
I don't
good-
really know that there's a remake that I'm just like I love, but I don't know.
The Thing. I mean, we all
Yeah.
like The Thing.
That's true.
Wait, you mean like the 1980 The Thing?
It's a remake of
Yeah, no,
the Thing from Outer Space, John. I'm down.
I understand. Thanks. Explainer guy.
How
I
about
like that John asked the question and I got snotty.
how
that we
about
answered.
78 Return of the Body Snatchers? That's a pretty dope ass movie, John. Or no, Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Return of
Invasion of the Body
Snatchers.
Snatchers. So there you go, a lukewarm answer. Next up, John's favorite listener, COW Flanagan. Daddy Joe, have you ever auditioned for a reality TV show? Which one would you most want to be a part of now? I'd want to be on that show where women are tricked into thinking I'm a millionaire, but all I got is 4 STDs.
Joe Millionaire. Remember that show, Joe? It was only one season, right?
Joe Millionaire, yeah. I do. So I've thought about this a lot, and I struggle because and Leslie and I talk about this a lot. Like, I'm scared if I was ever on like a Big Brother type thing. Like, we're on the podcast, people sort of know me, and I can say like stupid things, like maybe things that would disqualify me from ever running for office or something. But like it's Joe. I feel like if I'm ever on one of those, in like week 2, I make one of these dumb comments, like I get out and like I've lost my job and like have no future, like that. I get scared about that.
Yeah, man. It's
then like
it's
a Survivor, like I don't think I could ever do those.
I
don't think I'd want to be on any reality TV show, honestly.
Yeah.
Call still encourages me every year to audition for Big Brother because she thinks that'd be great. I can make friends with inanimate objects.
No, I'd be gone.
I can't say it right now, but I can.
Yeah. I don't want to be on a reality show, so.
No, I'm good.
My kids and I have been watching Floor is Lava. Have you guys watched Floor is Lava?
No.
Yes.
That's like a competition show, right? No, it's like
A lot
game
of
show.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be
Lot of
all
fun.
about that. It's actually really hard. I have 2 surgically repaired shoulders. It wouldn't go well for me, but
Yeah.
Do you have
It
like
is
That show Nailed It on Netflix. I wouldn't mind
yeah.
being on that. I love
Good
Nicole
show.
Byer.
John,
I think
Yeah.
what's going on?
Okay.
delightful.
I mean, if I could bake really well, I can bake okay, but not like
no,
well.
the point is you can't bake well.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
yeah.
thing.
No,
like, these people are
I meant
terrible.
for I would be on the Great British Bake Off. 'cause I'm British.
No, Cece, you'd get your ass handed to you. I'm just gonna.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those people are.
Yeah.
legit.
John, what's the deal with those
Oh.
shoulders? You got some like cadaver bones in there or something? Like how they
No,
put you
no,
back
no,
together?
He just wants to know if you'll be able to hold him.
Is this
after-
like I'm small, I'm not worried about that.
I can
Is this
catch
like
you, bro.
what do they do here? I want to know.
There's some shit I can't. Like it's mostly up and to the back. We can talk about it offline.
That's a bad.
What is happening?
It's not
What
great.
just happened?
I just want to know if you have like cadaver
I've,
joints in
I
there.
had 2. No, I don't think. No.
Isn't that what they?
cadaver
Is
parts.
that like knees or something they do that with your
Yes.
ACL or
Well,
something?
you could have cadaver parts in your shoulder probably, but
Interesting.
I just had 2 torn labrums and
Oh,
it's not great.
cool.
My torn labrum.
All right.
I don't
Can't see
recommend it.
Jesus Christ.
Next up, our good friend Erica. That's Cheesy Whiz. How does Joe feel the Tiki Talkies are going? Any chance of a tiny fighter battle in the summer?
No,
I don't know what that means. Like
That's-
tiny fighter.
that's an
The
old,
Tiny Fighters. That's
that's an
their
old
component.
reference that no one else still alive would understand.
Yeah, nobody's ever accused me of
The-
being.
those are
tiny.
2 completely unrelated thoughts, Joe. Why don't you just tell us about TikTok?
Oh. I mean, I enjoy it a great deal. I think, it all hinges on like people sending in questions and stuff, but like I have a blast when I do it.
I'd love
so.
to know what it is you're up to on there. I mean, I could just look at it, but-
Literally, I just make stupid comments and ask people to send in questions, and then I'll just make stupid comments based on the questions. Sunday night, I did post a video of me just clearing my throat for 60 seconds while my daughter laughed like a mental patient in the background. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm slowly losing interest, but I think we got like a week or 2 left. All right, next up, Nelson Tommy. Hi guys. just wanted to say hi, and like a little waving emoji.
Hey,
so hey Nelson.
Hello,
Nelson.
All right, last but not least, then we'll jump over to Instagram from Skizbot. What is your worst kitchen injury? Everyone has all their fingers? Question mark.
Worst kitchen injury? That's a good question.
I have a great answer.
Go ahead.
Well, so when I first moved to New York City, I was living in Jersey, and I used to go to this place called the Village Idiot, which is the greatest bar that ever existed, and I miss it every day. But I got like really, really super drunk there, and then came home, stumbled all the way to my apartment, and decided I needed to eat something. It was like midnight, and I was very, very like blitzed, and I thought, well, soup seems like a great idea. So I crack open the can, put it in the pot, spill some as I'm doing this, obviously, put it on the stove, sit on the couch, almost pass out, wake up, the soup is boiling, like almost over. I freak out, run over, slip on the soup that I had spilled, fall down, knock the pot, hot soup splashes in my face.
You ever see Session 9, Joe? This is very similar to something that happens in that
the
movie.
blood-curdling scream that I let out. Like, I'm surprised my neighbors didn't call the cops or something. So I'm sitting there, my face is burning. I don't know what to do. I'm drunk. I'm like, I gotta get some lotion on this thing. Decide to do that. I don't have any actual lotion, so I take like this. You remember when you used to get like cologne, and it would come with like
aftershave,
cologne, lotion,
oh,
and like
no,
soap.
You didn't.
So I take that, put it on my face. Next day I wake up, my face is like crusted over. I freak out. Go into the city, like start heading to work. I get to work. My friend there, she's like, you got to go to the fucking emergency room.
Dude.
Like, your face is fucked. I go there. I wait there for John. I don't know if you remember St. Vincent's, but it's the hospital used to be down.
No, yeah.
It's closed now. I wait there for like an hour with like just like the most frightening people you've ever seen. People that would be in an emergency room at like 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. Finally, like, get to see a doctor. They gave me a tetanus shot, a tube of Neosporin, and a packet on reconstructive surgery.
Oh my God!
Because the doctor's
Joe.
like, you might need this in a few weeks.
Holy shit! Do you have any scars from it?
Yeah, on my way. Yeah, but I mean, it healed fine. I mean,
do you have any scars?
Did it?
No.
That's
literally
crazy, dude.
One of the worst nights of my life.
Damn.
Like, yeah.
No, I didn't think it. Like, I've never done that other than just I've cut myself a few times, kind of nasty, but never anything that involved like stitches. But I did one time before a test at college, got like a really tall cup of tea, and you know, like when you're at like a cafe and you're like doing it self-serve, like how hot that shit gets and just sits all day. And I just did the thing like it was too high because they would always do it too high. A little bit spilled out, hit my hand. I then, you shake. I just all up my arm, my hand. This was like 5 minutes before I had a final in biology. And I went into this class and literally was like shaking because it was like really intense burn. And the teacher ended up bringing me like an ice pack to like ice my arm while I was like one arm like taking this like biology final. It's pretty brutal.
Such like a college student injury.
Dude, it was so stupid. Yeah, it was brutal.
I told the story about
not nearly as bad as Joe's face though. And Caitlin's story from last week would have been perfect for this.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yes, also true.
It involved jalapenos and oral loving.
Oh.
God.
I worked at a pizza shop.
I can only imagine.
In it was my like senior year of college, and I was working there under the table.
Oh
so
my
like
God, you were like a pizza shop, bro. I love that.
Well, and like I was just doing like all the shit, right? Like so at one point he sends me back, the guy who runs the place, he's like, hey, I need you to make croutons. When they make croutons, it's basically just like you take the rolls that are stale and you chop them up. And so I'm like chopping them up. I'm meanwhile, the important part here is I'm paid entirely under the table. And like, so,
I'm making the croutons.
I'm just going huge knife, boom, 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 go right through the end of my left finger.
Ooh.
And like, not like it wasn't like a huge thing, but I took off like a nice chunk, blood everywhere. It's like your thumb, so it just bleed. This dude, the owner, comes back, freaks out. Get out of here! Get out of my kitchen! Like literally, as I'm walking out the door, I'm like white in the face because I'm bleeding everywhere. hands me like $100. It's just like, go. Like, I don't want to see you anymore. That was definitely the worst.
Wait, did you get fired for that?
Wait, was that the last day you worked there?
No, I
was gonna say.
I
don't think it's legal to fire you for injuring yourself.
No, it was pretty close to like the end of when I had to go back to school anyway. But I think I went back like a week later or something. I don't remember. I still have a pretty good scar. Like it's like it's like my fingertips a little gone at that point on my thumb. So
just the tip, Joe.
Yeah, it's the tip.
All right. Let's go over to Instagram. We're on Instagram at Bloody Good Horror. Every Tuesday we post up. You can send in questions or, whatever you want to do. First up, as always, our friend who refuses to use the form. How psyched are you to have won everything forever by gifting Schnars a drug rug? Chef's kiss, my friend. It was.
Who said that?
I've got to credit Instagram to give me the idea, because I think last week or the week before someone asked how long before Schnars starts wearing a drug rug.
Right, you got served.
At which point I thought, like, well, that seems like a great idea.
These came up.
You mean you weren't just served the ad via Instagram?
Well, I mean, now I am constantly.
I remember
these.
do.
I like John's. Like, I feel like I might need a second one.
I'm pretty sure you bought yours, Joe, after it came up on the show a couple of years ago. Like the conversation came up the first time.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I had been arguing with the wife for years that I needed one, and she had been.
Do you wear this?
Yeah, during the summer, like if we're doing, we have like a fire pit outside, so we're hanging out.
Such a dad move.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, here's the regular questions over in the formsies. Just started BGH his house episode and no Joe. Weird that I want to skip it? Question mark? No, not weird at all.
Yes, you should love all of us equally.
Yes,
we're
all awesome.
Let's not put it in order. I think let's not get personal. Next up, how's the TikToks going? We already kind of talked about this, but it's hanging in there. Here we go. Where can I go to get 4+ hours of group discussion on the proper temperature for tea?
Slack.
And that is our Slack group, apparently. What was it, like Monday or Tuesday? Just long tea discussion?
I think it was yesterday.
Yep. Random nonsense.
Tuesday.
I mean, if you like tea, that's your thing. But just know, I think I'm better than you for drinking coffee. Like,
I mean, listen, I would drink coffee if I could, but I can't, so I drink tea. But I will say there's a huge difference between drinking tea like in bags and actually buying decent, like loose tea. It's a significant.
I figured out recently it takes me like 3 cups of coffee to be functional.
Dude, Casey,
you might want to try it out right now, buddy.
So that's like 13 glasses of tea, presumably.
I want to be on your level.
No,
Casey.
now, John, not when you're making it like me, though. That's the point. You get yourself the thing where you're making yourself. You can put as much tea in there as you want. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm to the point where I don't think I would be regular if I wasn't.
And also, Joe, but that's the beauty of matcha is because matcha also has fiber in it. So it's going to get you there.
I mean, I love you, but I wish I could slap you in the face right now for saying that sentence.
Listen, Joe, sometimes we got to adapt.
Like, I get it. It's 2021, but like still, I mean, part of me doesn't want to disappoint my great-grandfather, even though he's been dead for like 20 years.
I've never once thought about my great-grandfather, Joe, or my grandfather and what they might think. My grandfather was probably super racist. I would know if he ever spoke to anyone.
Legit.
What the fuck, Casey?
Casey,
buddy.
Don't worry. It gets
Why
better.
don't you set these next few plays out, huh, buddy?
My great grandfather was a prohibitionist to Babyface Nelson.
All right.
All right, man.
He made the most whiskey.
All right, let's try and get through this before Casey dies. What goes good with being lonely?
Weed and movies.
Yeah. Your right hand? I don't know.
Or left hand if you're left-handed.
Or yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Or reverse, stranger.
Yeah, what do they call that? The stranger?
Stranger.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Both hands is the answer.
Oh, I should say, what was that site I was talking about? Overkink?
Yeah.
I feel like I talked
Yes.
about it like 3 weeks ago, and they went down for like 2 weeks. I mean,
Are
I'm
they
sure
back? Is that what the update
they're
is?
back up. They're running. Everybody, please feel free. I'm sure like the wave of traffic they were getting based on my recommendation was
I
overwhelming.
don't know. It was several people commenting on it. I
Yeah.
saw.
It's a great site.
Joe caused their site to go down.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, 3 or 4 people are in the site. Right
Oh shit!
We were
Shut
not
it down.
we were not
How
prepared for
many
this.
dildos do we have left? All right. I'm sitting in a 12-hour in-person work meeting. What life
Whew.
choices
No.
led me to this?
Come on.
12 hour. That can't be real.
No. I mean, nothing for nothing. I don't want to sound like a dick, but like, you got a fucking job. Like, calm down. Sit on your goddamn meeting, all right? Is that too real for you, John?
That's fine, Joe. You got it. You got it.
Next up, I had a lot of questions on this one. Why does my back sweat smell worse than my pit sweat?
Gross, first of all.
Oh, dude.
Also, how? Joe, that was
Yeah.
Joe's question.
Yeah,
right? How do you know?
Yeah, how do you smell your back?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
I'm going to
here.
recommend a couple things for you. You're going to want like a back scrubber situation for your shower, probably, and then maybe like an astringent that you use on your back.
I'm worried about your back. Oh, here's one. I missed this one apparently during the week. Is jalapeno the quote-unquote hottest pepper you can handle? And I assume we're talking about during mouth love.
I gotcha. I thought we were just talking in general.
No,
like
get into it,
eating
Eric.
these
What do you
things.
got?
No, I don't want any peppers involved with mouth love, John. No, thank you.
I gotta tell you, like we talked about this last week.
This is
so
Joe's
I had a
thing.
similar instance with the missus, and it was probably the best I've ever had in my life. It feels dangerous, but there's a lot of tingling. It's
To each his own, really.
Yeah.
Wait, we've talked about that We Are the Champions show. Joe, I think you watched it, right? We Are the
what?
Champions on Netflix. Have we talked about this?
I don't think so. No.
There's a show on Netflix called We Are the Champions. Each episode it's a documentary, like short documentary film thing, and each episode's about a different competition. And the second episode is about the hottest chili pepper eating competition.
Oh, interesting. No, I'm gonna watch this.
Dude, you would love it. It's really well done. I mean that episode, but all of the episodes are very good. And there's only 6 of them. It's not like a big commitment.
No, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
Have you developed any strange hobby during the pandemic?
Define strange? No, I'm bottling my first homebrew this weekend.
Oh, there you go.
Of course you are.
Pretty
With
excited.
that, with
And
that,
I bought 2 more little kits.
with
so
that,
Kits?
with that
getting
hair.
right in there.
I thought you said you bought 2 more little kids.
No,
I
I
bought
got
2
plenty.
kids.
I got plenty. See, I don't need any more of those.
Yeah, why are you buying them?
Wayfair.
You can't seem to stop making them. Why would you be buying them?
Oh, stop.
Yeah. You need more? I mean, I think I've gotten good at the bread baking, but I don't think that's strange. I cry a lot. I cry just out of
I
nowhere.
mean,
like,
right.
A lot.
Emotional outbursts, uncontrollable.
Oh, it's a disaster. I don't know if that's a hobby. I wish it wasn't. I want to stop, John. We should move on. Why is teaching dividing fractions so hard?
I mean, you just turn
'Cause
one of
they're
the fractions
stupid.
upside down and then you multiply them.
Because they're
right?
stupid and meaningless. That's why. Fractions.
Oh boy! All right.
What's trending in horror now? Is it cults or just pandemics?
I think that, I mean, this kind of grief porn we're talking about, like that's kind of what I'm seeing a lot of is, and I mean, that's a little derisive. I understand, but it's like this. When I say prestige horror, I mean like we're gonna make a horror movie about fucking feelings and real human shit and emotions, and you're gonna hate yourself when it's over.
Well,
Like,
there was like this movie. It's like that movie.
it's
Relic.
like it's like 90% of what we've done the last year, John. Like you can talk about almost
No,
anything
well,
we've reviewed.
so
except-
you're not wrong. However, I would say that the whole thing has gotten so fucked up because production is like, who the hell knows what horror movies would have come out in the last 18 months?
yeah, that's also true.
If like things had been being released. We know there's like 15 movies that got shelved.
There's
and-
different branches of it. It's a lot of like prestige horror, honestly, like because there's different
Yeah.
branches. There's the grief stuff, but there's also the kind of Jordan Peele vein of like very socially conscious horror, right? Like you're seeing a lot of like, first time female directors coming out. You're seeing a lot of like black filmmakers making issue movies, really, like or movies that kind of focus on those social justice issues, right?
Well,
but those
using
in their own
genre
way to me
address something specific.
Yeah, they're kind. I mean, like the douchey term would be like elevated horror, I guess. Maybe prestige horror. I just feel better saying that, John.
Elevated horror makes my blood.
I know, yeah, like, but
really good.
But there
Elevated.
is a difference between that kind of stuff and Psycho Goreman, right? Like, there's a difference, I guess, is what I'm saying. But people are like really aiming to stretch the definition of a genre film. They're really aiming to address a lot of real human shit while doing it. And the thing is, it doesn't always mean it's good. Sometimes there's, diminishing returns on stuff.
Next one, and I think this is literally just like a statistic question. What horror franchise has the most movies?
Yes.
I think
is it
somebody
Friday
on
the
Slack
13th?
was
Is there
doing
more?
Amityville and counted there's like 20 Amityville movies or something crazy.
Get out of
Oh.
here.
Yeah.
I thought there were like 10 Hellraisers now. Didn't we?
I don't know.
All right. Casey chimes in with his answer.
Yeah, this
know.
could be looked up for sure.
Nah. Is the time change an eldritch terror? I don't know what the fuck that is.
Dude.
Or does it help keep Cthulhu sleeping?
No, it's 100% Eldritch horror.
I think, and I don't mean this to offend you, Casey, but I think you can assume these questions are not directed at you for the rest of the show.
I don't care, Joe. I'm going to take them that way anyways.
I don't like. I get that you're a little tired for like a day or two, but I don't understand why people act like an hour difference is just like completely fucking thrown off their lives. For
I
like,
tend to agree with Joe. There's a lot of hand wringing.
John,
Yeah.
including one movie called The Amityville Vibrator. I count 22 Amityville movies on the Wikipedia page.
wait,
That's amazing.
what?
I need to know about this.
Yeah, Joe. That was released on June 6th, 2020, direct to video.
Is
Oh,
that
really? It
canon?
didn't go to theaters? Like,
I mean, I'm
Well,
guessing it's just
the
like a possessed
pandemic,
vibrator,
John,
right?
it would have.
yeah, true.
I believe that was released on Disney Plus.
Comedy.
All
Kathy
right.
moves into a new home and soon comes into contact with a vibrator with ancient evil powers. Two researchers must locate the possessed item before Kathy and anyone else she encounters becomes a sex slave for Satan.
Wait,
Satan.
I'm
All
sorry,
right.
located? Like, doing that?
Yeah,
we
where?
don't know where it is?
It's literally in like the nightstand or in the owner.
Yeah, like, what?
Joe.
All right, here. Review suggestion: Block Island Sound on Netflix last week. Anybody?
Okay.
I did. I know I heard of that when you posted about it and you made a joke about Long Island.
Yeah. Well,
I'll
my
watch
my
it.
joke was
Oh, God.
I dated
Guys, the poster
yeah.
for this Amityville Vibrator is real fucking good. Hold on.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Hold on. That's awesome.
All right, we got two more here. Thoughts on breakfast for dinner?
Very pro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dude,
I love
breakfast.
eggs, pancakes,
Yeah.
bacon. Do it up.
Mhm.
Waffles. I can eat waffles any time of the day.
Joe, the tagline
Bis-
for this movie.
Biscuits and gravy.
The tagline for this,
Biscuit.
Joe, the tagline for this movie is "For God's sake, get off." Directed by Nathan Rumler, also famous director of movies Fangboner and Gay for Prey.
Ah,
So that's
also
cool.
my senior prom theme.
Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I sent that. I sent it
all
in
right,
the chat there. The poster.
Yeah, I'm very interested. Staff picks. All right, last but not least, I'm having my COVID jab. Wish me luck, please, you legend.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah,
go to
so who is-
Indiana.
I
They're
get mine's Friday. I'm so excited.
just nice.
Oh, awesome. I got mine last
I'm
Friday.
just like, I figure my parents are are all set, so like, I'm just whatever at this point. I feel better about
what?
I get very.
No, like I'm
irate
getting,
about
I'm
that.
getting it, but I'm just I have to wait now. But I feel better in general knowing that my parents have it. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
In the
All right,
meantime, while I
follow.
wait.
I don't know. I want one, and Suzanne thinks I'm being an asshole by like being pissed off about it, and then
No, I'm
whatever.
pissed too, dude. Fuck that shit. Give it to me.
Yeah.
For God's
I'm with you,
sakes,
John.
get
I don't
off.
understand
I mean,
why they're not all just like, how many people out there need jobs, John? You made the point about like just open them up 24/7. Let's get rotating shifts.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
I don't care if they're a trained nurse or not. How hard can it be to inoculate somebody, John? Just
I'll
stab
inoculate
me.
myself. Jesus Christ! Like,
Well, you know what they're doing in Illinois, which I think is genius, is they're actually, if you volunteer to work at these centers, like literally just like directing traffic, helping people park, then you get the vaccine.
I would do
so
that.
like they're getting more people to come
they
in
don't
and
even
help.
have that shit in Maryland.
Yeah.
This is like Maryland like can't get their head out of their ass to do
Well,
stuff.
I mean, Georgia's basically the same way. I'm surprised that they opened it to 16 and above with health issues on this Monday.
To be fair, John, Maryland's barely a state. You drive right through it.
I'm not here to defend Maryland. All right, I'm moving back to New York as soon as I can. So,
Not Philly, huh?
no, come on. I've been in New York 15 years. Come on.
That's it for questions.
Wow.
Unless we want to talk about where John is currently located for a few more minutes.
No.
I think we're good here.
I don't think we picked a movie, did we, for next week?
Oh, we have an offline.
I mean, I think
conversations
we've
on
got
the
Amityville Boner or whatever this thing is.
Amityville Boner.
Amityville Vibrator.
No, Joe, it's Amityville Vibrator by the director of Fang Boner. Please
That's my
get-
favorite
please
like
get it
book
right.
we had to read in elementary school, White Fang Boner.
So choose your own adventure. All right. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing next week. It's fine. But visit us at patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. You can check out get the live stream. Check out John's ring light. It's pretty exciting. See this facial hair I've been talking about for years. You can also get back episodes of the show and access to Slack. And don't forget, Joe's on Cameo. Easter's coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe you want Joe to wish your really religious like mother or aunt or something like Happy Easter? Get Joe on the case, you know?
So I got a few this week, and my favorite was a guy who used to send them in a lot and used to like refer to his wife as his ex-girlfriend, which I thought was hilarious. So he hasn't sent one in a few weeks and sent it in referring to my ex-girlfriend could use a pick-me-up. I had forgotten that was the joke, so I sent like an 8-minute video about how this woman is better off without this guy. He sends one in a day later like, no, we're married, remember? So yeah, but you know.
No, Joe doesn't remember. Why? That's on you for.
No, he does
That's
not
on you for
remember.
expecting Joe to remember that. Honestly, if I'm
Yeah.
being real.
But it was hilarious. I mean,
I have to remind Joe who I am every week when I get on the show.
Yeah.
Remember me?
I immediately try to forget the
Yeah.
moment we hang up.
Anyway, so cameo.com/bloodygoodhorror. And if you can find Joe on TikTok, if you know enough about TikTok to find Joe on there, enjoy all that and let me know how it's going.
Yeah.
And that's it. So hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.